Good morning, everybody, and a happy Saturday morning. We made it through another week, you guys. Now, I'm willing to bet that you can see the thumbnail and see what one of the stories is we have today, but we actually have two big stories that we're covering, as well as the royal family news. So let's just jump in and get busy, shall we? Let's go. We're starting off today with Crown Princess Meghan Markle again. We know she had a lung transplant. We know her son was convicted of domestic violence and a certain kind of assault. And, she's in the hospital having had, her lung removed after being diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis. So somebody is claiming that this guy, even though he's in prison, has been visiting his mother. He was smuggled into Oslo University Hospital through a back entrance to avoid photographers. I mean, I find it interesting. He's been sent to jail, but somehow he's able to go visit his mom. That's just crazy. Ugh. Let's move on now to Prince William. He toured a pioneering carbon negative farm in Devon. It's called the Apricot Center. And they demonstrate how sustainable food production can go hand in hand with supporting mental health, education, and community resilience. They do agroforestry, permaculture, and nature-based therapies. William heard how this place turned into a financially viable company and a pioneer in environmental terms. It achieves an annual revenue of £1.3 million. It's carbon neutral and it's increasing biodiversity across the entire site. It's 120 acres. And basically, William explored how regenerative farming techniques can deliver ecological and commercial success. And there's a growing intersection between sustainable land management and mental health support because they combine the food production with nature-based well-being services. They occupy a former dairy farm that had fallen into disuse and then transformed it into this wildlife haven that it is now. It's a husband and wife team. They established this in 2015, drawing on their expertise in horticulture and child psychology. Now they have organic and regenerative techniques, and they also have specialist therapies, therapeutic mentoring, and farm-based activities that support mental, emotional, and social well-being of children, young people, families, and the farming community. He also looked at their well-being garden, which got recognition at the Chelsea Flower Show in 2025. Pretty cool. And of course, the kids gave him some flowers and a gift. I'm sure the gift was for the, children. Fabulous. Good for him. All right, let's move on. It is time to move on to Ascot Day 3. There were a lot of surprises on this particular day, but we're going to start with the first carriage, which had the King and Queen in there, as you can see, looking gorgeous, along with the Earl of Snowdon and the person that they're calling his new partner, Isabella de la Brewer. It is being said that the fact that they're including this girlfriend like they did Harriet at first is a show that they might be formalizing their relationship soon. That's the word on the street. So there may be another royal wedding. How lovely would that be? All right. Then you have the second carriage. You had Princess Anne, Prince Edward, Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, and Vice Admiral Sir Tim Lawrence, and they were all together, just family in this particular cart. And since they all get together really well, I'm sure this was a pleasant drive into the racetrack. So they were in carriage number 2. Now, let me just say, and I couldn't help but notice, Sophie's necklace. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. Do you guys see that necklace? Does that look familiar to you? For those of you who don't recognize it, that is the necklace that Sophie wore at her wedding to Edward, that Edward had made special for her for the wedding. She was wearing that on her wedding day. And I just love that they're on the eve of their wedding anniversary and she puts it on. It's fabulous. In carriage number 3, you have Princess Zara Aga Khan, Sheikh Hamad bin Abdullah Al Thani, Zara Tyndall and Mr. Mike Mullis, who is an Irish horse racing trainer. She looks absolutely lovely. And then, of course, and in carriage number 4, the big surprise, we had Lord Cavendish and Lady Cavendish, Mr. Stanley Tucci, the actor, we all know who he is, and his wife, Miss Felicity Blunt. For those of you who may not remember it, in February of 2025, the King had Mr. Tucci and Miss Blunt to Highgrove House for a UK Italian dinner ahead of his trip to Italy that spring with Queen Camilla. The event celebrated the slow food and slow fashion movement, and the Tucci in Italy host inspired the menu for the night, they're saying. Other guests were the Beckhams, Helen Mirren, Donatella Versace, and the Italian ambassador to the UK was there as well. The King also linked up with Mr. Tucci, who, by the way, was in The Devil Wears Prada, in case you don't know who he is. They linked up once more at the January premiere of the King's documentary, Finding Harmony, A King's Vision at Windsor Castle. And then he and the Queen met up with Tucci and Blunt again at the Queen's reading room reception at Clarence House in March. Now, for those of you who don't know, the third day of Royal Ascot is called Ladies' Day, and the women bring their style, and their hats and their fancy schmancy dresses, like more than normal. You guys know what I'm saying. Now, Carol Middleton, Catherine's mother, was there, even though Catherine was not there. She was looking absolutely gorgeous. See the hat behind her? That pink hat? That's what I'm talking about. Now, at one point, she was seen hanging out with Princess Zara Aga Khan. And also, people noticed that the dress that she was wearing, remember the other day she wore the dress that she wore to Pippa's wedding? Well, this time she was wearing the dress she wore to Harry and Meghan's wedding. And no, this was not a statement. Now, of course, we've already seen Zara in the carriage, but here's where you get a full look at what she's wearing. This color yellow, I happen to love. It's like a butter yellow. Here she is standing, by the way, with Major Rob Treasure again from the Rifles, the Queen's equerry. We saw him the other day. Anyway, it's not that I dislike yellow, you guys. I love Catherine, but that bright yellow she was wearing the other day, I just couldn't get past it. I'm sorry. Love the dress, love the hat, hate the color. And again, as I said from the other day, as you see the family standing around socializing and talking, remember, this is a family. Exactly. Now, also seen there, of course, were Lady Diana's nieces, Lady Amelia and Lady Eliza. They wouldn't be, I think they're at every single royal function and event. They're everywhere. So Sophie and Edward were up in the royal box, and what people were really talking about, as I told you in my other video, was the facial expressions. I mean, these races must really be something. People were getting super, super excited. Look at her, look at that pouty lip. I'm going to guess that her horse didn't win. That's all I can assume. Carol Middleton was up there. Also seen up there was Michael Middleton and Andrew Parker Bowles, Camilla's first husband. You know who else was there? The Japanese ambassador to the UK. She was holding a Paddington bear. Somebody got a picture of it. Of course, Mr. Tucci and his wife, Miss Blunt, went up into the royal box as well. Looks like everybody was having a great time checking their tickets to see if they had a winning horse, which I guess is the whole point. I wonder what they do with the money when they win. I wonder if they keep it or if they donate it. You know what I mean? Out of all the photos, this is my favorite. These three women together. You know what I mean? And it's so nice that everybody gets along. Carol Middleton gets along with Zara. She gets along with the King. She gets along with Princess Anne. It's amazing how everybody seems to get along except for one specific person. Now, we have the trophy presenters, and let's move on because Prince Edward and his wife presented the winner's trophy for the Ribblesdale Stakes. Now, this took place, obviously, at Ascot, and the Ribblesdale, I'm having trouble saying that word, the Ribblesdale Stakes is a prestigious Group 2 flat horse race, and it's only open to 3-year-old fillies. Now, also, Prince Edward chose Brilliant Star, that's the name of the horse, as the best turned out horse at the Ribblesdale Stakes. Whoa, that's hard to say. And he presented the groom, Christina Dolinkova, with a 300-pound prize. How wonderful. After that, it was the King and Queen's turn. They arrived to present the Gold Cup to the Connections of Scandinavia. And they also gave Aidan O'Brien, he's the jockey, he's holding up a sign that says 100. And that's because, if you can believe this, he just recorded his 100th win and his 10th Gold Cup. Can you believe that? And so because of that, they presented him with the special 100 saddle cloth. I wonder if that's ceremonial or if he'll get to use it. Now, also, the King and Queen judged Caballero de Mar to be the best turned out horse in the Gold Cup. And they presented their groom, Eliza McCalmont, with a 300-pound prize as well. Looks like everybody's a winner. At the same time, it's being reported that Beatrice and Eugenie were told they will not take seats in the royal box. They will not participate in the royal procession with other senior members of the family. And this is part of a broader effort to limit their involvement in high-profile public engagements and all the controversy surrounding their father. This is why I said I don't think they're going to meet up with Harry and Meghan. It's going to look bad for them if they do. Now, one more thing happened. For those of you who don't know, Queen Camilla is president of the Ebony Horse Club. And at the end of the day, she gave an interview to ITV where she said that, Ascot is the best of Britain, really, isn't it? She goes, it doesn't matter whether you love horses, you don't know much about horses. You come here for a good day to experience a bit of fun, the best racing in the world, the best horses, the elegant women. And I think in the world we live in, it's wonderful to just get away and enjoy yourself. And that's what Ascot does. You get pageantry and the procession. It's 5 days of pleasure. Good for her. It's time for the fashion parade from Remoulade Sauce and Carol M. Enjoy! Remember when Meghan put this disgusting video up showing her spooning in her preserves to the matcha latte for Clever Blends? Well, come to find out that they don't use Meghan's fruit spread. There is a recipe for the beverage on its website that's nearly identical to the one that Meghan is promoting, but it uses a less expensive and much more beloved Bon Mammon strawberry preserves. And she's pushing her stuff, but the coffee company apparently is saying use this other thing. The Clever's own page for the drink tells customers to combine their matcha latte mix and hot water in a glass and froth it, and then in a separate glass put a touch of the Bon Mammon strawberry preserve, and then combine it with heavy cream and milk and strawberry dust, and then you whisk it and froth it. And then you coat the bottom of your glass with the preserves and ice. Then you pour in the latte mixture. Yeah. Two quick things I want to point out. One is preserves, which means you have chunks of fruit. And the other one is spread, which is being marketed as a pouring alternative. And the price is also different. The preserves can be picked up at Target and Walmart for under $7, whereas Meghan's little jar is $12. More egg on the face of the duplicitous duo. All right, we're going to continue on. We got more to cover. Now, I told you guys it was going to be will they, won't they, will they, won't we? And here we go. Now they've changed the article to read that Meghan and the children may visit the UK, not that it's for definite. So here we go with the back and forth crap that I told you was going to happen. Let's move on. Let's move into one of our two big stories for today. Somehow this just doesn't surprise me. Harry announced in September of 2025, during his visit to Nottingham, media reports and sources close to Harry said that he made a personal donation out of his own pocket. Now that is exactly what was written. Media briefings explicitly specified that the funds were his own money rather than a grant from Archwell Foundation. Harry also gave a speech. Here's what he said.
It really is banging. I'm proud to share I'm going to make a significant, or I did make back in December, a significant investment into this community because I believe in you. I believe what you're doing.
What we found out was this. The Charity Commission decided to investigate where this money actually came from. And the documents reveal the money came from the Glenn Begg Foundation. Now, the Glenn Begg Foundation was established in 1999 to hold funds inherited by Princess Diana. So the original sums stemmed from the Princess of Wales Charities Trust. When the Princess of Wales passed away, the money was split equally between William and Harry. William's share went to the Broad Cairn Foundation, and Harry's went to the Glenn Begg Foundation. I can remember reporting on this when he gave that donation, and I remember saying even then, he's broke. Where did he come up with millions to give to somebody? So the funds didn't come from his partnership with Spare. It didn't come from Archwell. It didn't come from anywhere except another foundation that was established 2 years after Diana passed away. So let me just make sure you guys understand. The trust accumulated generous contributions from companies and organizations she visited or represented. Somehow, in Harry's brain, I'm sure he thinks that since the money was donated to his mother, that somehow it's his. Harry framed this to the public, that this was personal wealth. And this was presented as one of the largest individual donations by a British royal family member in recent times. And now, of course, we found out that that's just not true. And for those of you who don't remember, this was the time that Harry went back to the UK, and there was literally no crowds anywhere at any time to see him. And I think he was desperate for some PR, and so they concocted this, and true, if you give money, you don't brag about it, but that's what he did. The squaddies can't stand that Harry's been called out, and you have people like this who say that this trust was set up by Diana when she married King Charles. Now, we don't have to worry about any of this happening again because the Glenn Begg Foundation ceased operations after the trustees transferred the remaining charitable assets, which totaled, guess what? £1.1 million directly to BBC Children in Need. So basically, Harry emptied it, and now it's been removed as a charity. Unbelievable. Now, for those of you who are wondering what happened to William's half, the Broad Cairn Foundation, which was established, is still going strong. It funds smaller charities, directing its resources towards disadvantaged children, third world infrastructure, conservation, and community development. Way to go, William. I'm finishing up this video with this article from The Spectator. It is so spot on. Basically, what it says is a return from Meghan to the UK is going to be like a drop like a lead balloon with the public because she has torched her bridges in the UK. Their conduct towards the late Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip in their final years is just so disgusting. And they've had all these setbacks in California. And so it might just have sunk in, even to the two of them, that without their royal connection, which they ditched, their draw is very limited. And tying the Birmingham countdown to the Sussexes coming home has pulled the attention away from the veterans, who should have been the main focus. Nobody's even talking about the veterans. But British opinion of the Sussexes soured early. Don't forget they had that 2021 Oprah interview where they leveled claims of racism and allegations against the royal family that had no evidence. Then, of course, we had Despair with Harry cashed in on private family matters while they demanded privacy while selling their exit story abroad. Of course, we know that their relationship with Elizabeth and and Philip in their final years left a really bad taste in the mouths of a lot of people. You know, biographies like Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors that Tom Bauer wrote reported that their departure and public statements put so much strain on this beloved elderly couple who were considered national treasures. We know that Meghan did not attend Philip's funeral because supposedly, allegedly, she was pregnant, and the Queen reported to have said, "Thank God Meghan's not coming." And Harry, who used to be close to his grandparents, let it happen. There were a lot of people throughout the world who loved the late Queen and her husband, and they will not forget nor forgive. But don't forget, the Sussexes have in the past accused Bauer of deranged conspiracy, but yet they've never sued him. Don't forget that since they left and went to California, they've not had good results. They had the deal with Spotify that wrapped after one series of archetypes. Netflix has released several projects, some tied to Invictus, but none matched the Harry-Meghan story. You have Meghan's lifestyle brand that was originally American Riviera Orchard that grabbed some attention but didn't deliver, and the momentum just died. The Montecito house and its costs roll on, and the tide has turned in the United States. And once supportive media companies are skeptical after all of their public issues. And as for Harry, well, he hasn't been to a Trooping the Color event in years, and during King Charles's state visit to the United States, there was no meeting between the father and the son. It doesn't take a genius to understand that they're highlighting the children's involvement in an attempt to get to the king. And it does put the king in a weird position because it appears he has kept some private contact with Harry, but a public family appearance risks looking like a concession after all the attacks and all the things that Harry and Meghan have said about the royal family. And also on top of that, taxpayers are entitled to watch security costs because we know Harry lost his automatic public funded protection when he stepped back from royal duties. He's got to give a 30-day notice, and his court battles have brought mixed results. So any special provisions for this trip would restart arguments over public money for people who chose to walk away. And the veterans deserve an occasion focused squarely on their service, not tangled up in separate talks about protection and the full gamut of the drama caused by the Sussexes. The monarchy thrives on dignity and duty, and personal demands and branding exercises are bad optics. Harry understands all of this, but he chose another road, and Britain has no obligation to restore relevance, security funding, or public goodwill to Harry and Meghan or their children on request after such a clear break. So if Meghan does step back onto British soil with her children, the most she can hope for is polite endurance. Bridges have been burned and dynamited. And there's also, by the way, a reputational risk for the palace if any steps are taken towards reconciliation. I think William understands this because after all of the unforgivable behavior that Harry and Meghan unleashed against the crown and country, it would be very difficult to countenance a full-throated approachment. But rather than that, the latest noise is likely more motivated by the couple's recognition that without royalty, their brand will not stay afloat. The California dream is hollow. So Britain will surely support genuine service to veterans. However, it is under no obligation to provide the stage, the security, or the forgiveness to a couple who rejected, disparaged, and now needs it again. It can back Invictus and the veterans without giving Harry and Meghan a fresh platform for reinvention. The public is going to make its own call. That's what I'm looking out for. Yes, I want your comments. Make them good, put them down. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Then go down into the description box where you'll find the link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, a link to my father's book, which remains up for sale on Amazon, a link to my Amazon wish list, as well as a physical address. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.